Thank you so much for joining me. So before you heard any details of the allegations in the Trump indictment, you put out a statement saying if you become president, you would pardon Donald Trump on day one. Now you've seen the allegations and you've seen that he stored highly classified information like nuclear secrets and others in unsecured areas of his country club. Given everything that you've seen, do you stand by your promise to pardon him if he's convicted?
Reading that indictment and looking at the selective omissions of both fact and law, Dana, I'm even more convinced that a pardon is the right answer here.
Why?
The top question actually we should be asking is, what did Biden tell Merrick Garland? What did Merrick Garland tell Jack Smith? Because what I see in that document is deeply politicized. Not a single mention of the Presidential Records Act, the most relevant statute to the actual alleged crime here. Selective statements from President Trump's statements on the campaign trail in 2016 about classification and how he'd treat it, without one mention of the fact that he actually, after he was elected in 2016, said he would not prosecute Hillary Clinton and would not want to see her prosecuted. And by the way, no one's mentioned this yet. This was what stood out to me. The classification scheme itself was defined not by statute, but by executive order, which is interesting because executive orders, appellate courts have held, do not bind a U.S. president with the force of law. So this is selective prosecution. I think it's irresponsible not to have included any treatment of those facts or law in this indictment. It reeks of politicization, which is why I want to go back to the top question that the media actually should be asking. What did Biden tell Garland? What did Garland tell Jack Smith? That's what you need to be getting to the bottom of.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about this very, very, very fascinating and amazing interview that was conducted by CNN between Vivek Ramaswamy, who is a GOP presidential candidate, and Dana Bash on CNN. And Vivek Ramaswamy is creating a brand for himself in which he is getting known for destroying CNN anchors, right? I mean, the guy arguably ended Don Lemon's career, or put it this way, he was the final nail in Don Lemon's coffin, because we all know that Don Lemon was on his way out the door. But it was that debate that he had with Vivek Ramaswamy on the Second Amendment in the NRA that ended Don Lemon's career officially, right? And Vivek Ramaswamy is on to the next one, okay? Because CNN decided to have a GOP presidential candidate on their network to talk about Trump, right? Not to talk about his actual platform, okay, or what he wants to do for America. I'm pretty sure they talked about some of that. But mainly, the reason why they actually had him on the show is because they want to see the GOP candidates talk about Trump, right? All they want to talk about is Trump, especially with this indictment related to these classified documents that he allegedly took from the White House to Mar-a-Lago, okay? So with that being said, again, I want to react to this interview because she's going to ask him about this indictment, okay? And Vivek Ramaswamy is going to put on a masterclass on how to deal with the media and the clear double standard that they have in regards to covering this stuff, because anybody with two brain cells to rub together knows that this is political, okay? Just look at how they treated Hillary, right? They decided not to go after Hillary despite her having a private server in her basement of her home that she used to do official government communications, in which allegedly there was classified information, or put it this way, information that should have been classified, okay? Because they technically say, well, it wasn't classified at the time, but it should have been classified, right? should have been classified information or confidential information on a private email server, okay? And then once she got caught, try to delete the email. So basically try to destroy the evidence, aka obstruct justice, right? Again, no charges, right? Let her skate by, right? No big deal. Mike Pence took classified documents, no charges. Joe Biden, they're investigating him, but he hasn't even got an interview yet, right? They're not even close to deciding what they want to do with him. My guess is because he's probably, running the investigation. He's technically the boss, right? They're probably not going to actually do anything, okay? So we know that they're treating Trump differently than they would treat others in this same situation. And the media should be asking questions about that, okay? And digging deeper into, is there some collusion between Joe Biden and Merrick Garland and the people that are conducting this case, because again, it seems like this is politically motivated. And Vivek Ramaswamy is basically going to destroy this CNN analyst and tell her how to do her job to her face in this interview. And it is absolutely beautiful. So I want to talk about it. But before we get into it, I have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, Noble Gold. Just as King Charles III of Britain has a crown with the timeless wealth of gold, you can enrich your future with the enduring value of a gold IRA. Like those precious crowns, a gold IRA doesn't tarnish over time. It shines brighter in economic turmoil. It's a hedge against inflation and stability in volatile markets. This month, the first gold quarter-ounce gold bullion coin ever issued with King Charles III's image can be yours with your own qualifying gold IRA or 401k rollover of at least $50,000 or more. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 877-646-5347 to get started, or go to noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. And just remember, there's a risk with every investment and there's no guarantee of any kind. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it.
Well, do you think it would be a mistake for the Republican Party to nominate somebody who is facing serious federal criminal charges?
Look, I'm in this race to win this race because I think we need to move forward as a country. I think we go forward with the agenda if we're grounded in first principles and moral authority. That's why I'm in this race. But that's not for you or I, or certainly the Federal Administrative Police State to decide. That's for the people of this country to decide.
Federal Administrative Police State? That's pretty strong.
That's exactly what's at work here, right? You have a federal administrative state. The police arm of that state is, for the first time in U.S. history, not only indicting a former president, but indicting currently a lead candidate against the U.S. president. That is not the stuff of the United States of America. That is the stuff of banana republics.
Well,
and if there was ever going to be a case brought against a lead political rival for a sitting U.S. president, it better be locked down and airtight, not an indictment that fails to mention the most relevant statute that's actually at issue.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So again, this is just beautiful, right? It's just absolutely beautiful because Dana Bash is asking such a silly question. She's asking a question that basically kind of alludes to this idea that the political parties select candidates, right? That the GOP should not be allowing Trump to run. It's like, who are you or the media or anybody to decide who should be the GOP candidate? That's for the people to decide, right? It's not for GOP candidates to decide. It's not for the RNC to decide. It's not for the party to decide, the politicians. It's for the people. It's for the voters to decide, right? If the voters say, hey, you know what? I want to see Trump in office, even if he's in jail, which is possible, right? Again, that's for the voters, okay? I mean, that's not a question that she should be asking to a GOP candidate. It doesn't make sense. But again, the point that Vivek Ramaswamy is making here is that this whole prosecution in the first place is simply to override the will of the people, to override democracy, to override our republic. Okay, that's the whole point. It's to tell people that, no, you don't get a choice, right? We, as the Federal Administrative Police State, right, Vivek Ramaswamy's term or phrase, we decide, okay? And that's what's happening here. And the real question that Dana Bash should be asking is, well, should the government be deciding who's president and who's not president, especially at a time like this where this guy is running? They are going after him for petty things that we know they wouldn't go after other people for. Again, Hillary Clinton. Okay, we saw what happened with her. Mike Pence, nothing happened with him. They're probably not going to do anything to Joe Biden because Joe Biden is running this whole thing, right? And again, that's the question that the media should be asking, okay? That's what Vivek Ramaswamy is going to get at here.
Well, it is, obviously, as you said, it is unprecedented. I should say that there have been democracies that have prosecuted, put criminal prosecution of former leaders because those times have been so extraordinary.
And here in the middle of an election.
And this obviously is very extraordinary.
I disagree with the allegations. I just think I do not believe those allegations because of, I think, the intellectual dishonesty in that indictment. So I think the federal court is actually, I think, based on the precedent of the Clinton sock drawer case, where effectively Judge Jackson said that it is at the president's, her language, not mine, sole discretion as to what is and is not covered as a presidential record, I think the court will acquit him. But that's beside the point of the judgment that President Biden made. And if Trump's judgment was bad, President Biden's judgment is worse for actually bringing a prosecution. He should have done what Trump did.
President Biden didn't bring a prosecution.
The Department of Justice reports into the President of the United States, and so this is a fig leaf, which is why I think the media needs to get to the bottom of this.
But there's no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence, unless you can show me some, that President Biden has had anything to do with this prosecution. That's why he put 2 layers in between with the special
due respect, I think it is shameful that I, as a competitor to President Trump in this race, have to ask questions that the media isn't asking. The job of the political media, if it has one job, is to hold the U.S. government accountable.
Yes, we know that.
And instead, we're doing the bidding. You're seeing the media doing the bidding of the U.S. government.
No.
Ask the question. Get to the bottom of what Biden told Garland and what Garland told Jack Smith. If the same shoe fit the other foot, you would not take their word at face value. Do not take their word now. Get to the bottom of it. Let's actually restore journalism in this country. That's what's actually missing, is getting to the truth.
Wow. 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 Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. Vivek Ramaswamy is clearly the smartest GOP candidate in the race, and it's not even close, okay? It's not even close. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but I want to talk about what we just heard here. This guy literally just set Dana Bash straight on just basic journalism, in the sense that she just assumes that, no, Biden didn't talk to Merrick Garland. Biden's not behind this. Well, it's like, well, how do you know that? Right? Have you been asking? Or are you just assuming that Biden has nothing to do with it, that is not political? You're just taking the government's word at face value instead of questioning the motivations of the government, because we know that if this was done the other way around, right? If Trump was president and a Trump-run DOJ was to indict a former sitting president, like, for example, Barack Obama, okay, for taking classified documents, or even Joe Biden, because he did when he was vice president too, okay, to go after Joe Biden, what would you be saying? What questions would you be asking? You would straight up be asking, you'd be saying, is this politically motivated? Is Trump behind this, right? Is Trump interfering in the DOJ's investigation, or is Trump weaponizing the DOJ to go after political opponents? That's exactly what they would be saying. That would be the narrative. They wouldn't just assume that, oh, Trump has nothing to do with it, because Trump said that he didn't talk to the head of the Department of Justice, right? Again, this is just, it's a masterclass on how to deal with the media. And Vivek Ramaswamy does it better than probably anybody besides Carrie Lake. Okay, Carrie Lake is also very good at this too. But here's my thing about Vivek Ramaswamy. He doesn't have a chance of winning because he's not divisive enough, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that he's not rah-rah, okay? He doesn't have enough testosterone flowing, right? He doesn't get the crowd going enough, I think, to win, right? He doesn't rally the troops the same way that Trump can rally the troops or DeSantis can rally the troops. But in my opinion, I mean, in regards to at least what he talks about, right? The talk game, okay, the policies that he's proposing. Again, in my opinion, I think he's head and heels over everybody else in the race. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still a Trump guy, right? I'm just saying that, there's a GOP civil war between DeSantis and Trump, right? But this guy right here, in my opinion, his intelligence is off the charts, right? Now, the problem is that he doesn't have any government experience, okay? So he's going to have the same problem that Trump had when Trump came into office, is that, it takes time to learn how to actually run a government, okay? I mean, it's not the same thing as running a business, okay? Running a government is different, and it takes time to learn, right? But with that being said, Trump, in my opinion, right, and one of the reasons why I'm still a Trump guy, I don't want people to get it twisted. I just like Vivek Ramaswamy a lot, okay? I would love to see him be a VP and to potentially maybe be a guy down the road who could be president. But Trump, in my opinion, I know what I'm getting from Trump, right? Trump does have the government experience now. I know what it was like during the Trump years. I was happy with that. I love Trump's foreign policy. So, yeah, I'm a Trump guy, right? And I think Trump will have that advantage, and I think that's why Trump is continuing to win and actually pull away from everybody else, because everybody knows what they're getting with Trump, right? And the more that the deep state comes after Trump, I think the more that people rally around Trump. And it doesn't matter what he says, we know what we're getting, right? And I think everybody kind of agrees with that when it comes to Trump. Now, when it comes to DeSantis, I think DeSantis is good too. And that's why I don't really understand this argument back and forth between Trump and DeSantis supporters, because I'm just like, I'm happy with both of these guys, right? I would be happy with Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, those three guys I would be happy with. Okay, but with DeSantis, he has the advantage of probably knowing government better than Trump knows government in terms of how to navigate government, how to actually get things done. But I don't necessarily know what type of president DeSantis is going to be, right? I'm not necessarily sure on a national stage whether or not DeSantis is going to be able to take the heat, because he's done a great job of taking it in Florida in his own turf. Okay, when he's not really challenged. But it seems like when DeSantis actually gets challenged, he tends to struggle a little bit. So what is that going to look like if DeSantis gets in the White House and he doesn't have the same home field advantage? For example, having a Republican legislator overwhelmingly that could just pass anything that he wants, that he had in Florida, right? He's probably likely not going to have that as president of the United States. The margins are going to be more tight, okay, in regards to what he can actually get done. I'm not sure how he can navigate that. I don't know. Okay, there's a lot of unknowns with DeSantis, but there's a lot of knowns with Trump. We know what we're getting with Trump, and I think that's his main advantage. Regardless, I'm just saying that those three guys, in my opinion, are the best, right? And I just think that Vivek Ramaswamy is not getting nearly enough attention for how intelligent he is and what he's proposing and what he's putting forth as an agenda. He really does put on a masterclass in regards to how to deal with the media on a national stage and under fire, which is something that I don't think there's anybody doing it better than he is right now. Okay. And it is absolutely necessary in a time like this when the media is adversarial towards anything that goes against Democrats. You need a guy that is smart, articulate, and honestly, again, non-divisive, right? To go up there and to still put forth the conservative agenda in a way that people can get on board with and can agree with. Even if you are a Democrat, you're a moderate, you are somebody that leans left, you still are open to maybe voting for this guy because he's not that divisive, okay?
Thank you for that. We are absolutely asking these questions.
Good. No, you're
and
not.
We know how to be good journalists because we do it every single day. Last question is, on the fundamentals, do you believe that Donald Trump should be above the law, or should he be held to the same standard as every citizen in this country?
Well, he's not being held to the same standard as his own colleagues in politics, right? He's been held to a higher standard than his own colleagues. Again, the question should be, do you think that Biden or Pence or Hillary should be held to the same standard they were holding Trump? That should be the real question, right? But again, this is how they frame stuff. And then she want to say, well, we're being good journalists, right? No, you're not. You're propagandists for the Democrat Party, and it's so obvious.
Every citizen in this country is held and should be held to the same standard. That includes Joe Biden. That includes Hillary Clinton. That includes Mike Pence. That includes me. That includes every citizen across this country. What we're seeing here, though, is a selective prosecution. And there's a difference between Donald Trump when he left office as president versus Joe Biden, who is a U.S. senator, or Hillary Clinton, who's a secretary of state, none of whom are covered by the Presidential Records Act.
Couldn't it be true that it's not so much as selective prosecution? It's just that the allegations of what Donald Trump did is just different and allegedly much more egregious than what we've seen anywhere else?
There are a few things that are just different about the presidency, and we have to accept that we have this as law in this country, Dana. And if you don't like the law, we should change the law. But the law says there's a Presidential Records Act that specifically gives U.S. presidents jurisdiction and authority over deciding what is and isn't a presidential record. And executive orders bind the rest of the country. That's the classification scheme. They don't bind the U.S. president. Again, these are questions for the courts. So I'm not substituting my opinion for the judgment of the court.
Right.
But I'm saying the fact that those distinctions did not even appear in this indictment, to me, reek of politicization, which is why I am deeply skeptical of the face value claim that the White House wasn't involved. That's what I want to get to the bottom of.
Vivek Ramaswamy, candidate for the Republican nomination. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, Dana.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Trump doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. Everybody else does, right? They're going to give Biden the benefit of the doubt. They gave Pence the benefit of the doubt. They gave Hillary the benefit of the doubt. Trump doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. And Vivek Ramaswamy did a great job of calling that out on CNN. And I love it, man. I really do. I think this guy is, again, I really want to see him in some position in government, okay, and be a strong voice for the GOP, because the GOP needs more smart individuals, less divisive guys like Vivek Ramaswamy, okay? I'm so serious about that. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.